Let's talk about worrying, and more specifically, how to stop it. If you're someone who overthinks or constantly worries or feels like their brain doesn't shut off, I want to share a simple trick that may help you. But first, let's talk about what's happening when you're in that state. When you're thinking the same thoughts over and over again, your brain is stuck in a thought loop. It's sort of like playing a record and the needle gets stuck. You keep hearing the same thing over and over again on a loop. Since records have made a comeback, I don't feel so old using that analogy right now. Unfortunately, we can't stop that record just by thinking and hoping that it'll stop, right? We have to physically walk over, take the needle off the record in order to stop the loop. And it's the same thing when we're stuck in a thought loop. We can't think our way out of it or hope it will stop. We have to take action. And here's why. We think that we should just be able to think our way out of everything, but that's not true, because if it was, we wouldn't be in this mess to begin with. We could just say, okay, I'm going to stop overthinking, I'm going to stop worrying now, and it would stop, and we'd carry on our day as if everything was fabulous. That sounds amazing, but that's not how our brains work. The truth is, the more you think, the stronger those thoughts get until you feel like you're spinning out of control. You can try and push those thoughts aside, but the more you resist them, the stronger they get. Remember that record on a loop? We need to physically do something to stop it. And the same goes for your brain. As soon as you recognize that you are in a thought loop, take out some pen and a paper, or actually paper and a pen, and start writing. Write down everything you're thinking. Write when you think it. Write it, think it, write it. Let the thought flow from your brain straight to your pen, and keep writing. It's totally irrational, totally illogical, but it doesn't matter. Just write it down. Write, write, and keep on writing until there's nothing left, until your thoughts lose all their momentum. And once that happens, you've stopped the loop. You've taken the needle off the record, and now you can breathe. Now, if you look at what you've written, you've probably see a lot of ego mind at work. If you see lots of I, me, or my words peppered throughout your notes, you know that you've just battled the ego mind and you've won. The ego mind is self-destructive and dangerous. It's what leads us down the rabbit hole of self-doubt, fear, and anxiety. But we've never been taught that we can actually separate ourselves from it when we need to. The thing about the ego mind is that it likes to stay in the dark. It likes to be the voice in your head, and when it's in a negative state, it can get loud and it can get nasty. It tends to win every fight, and when you battle with it inside your own head, you will rarely win. But shine a light on it and it's a different story. Writing it down puts you on an even field. The ego loses steam quite quickly in the light, and the more you practice, the easier it gets. Eventually, with a lot of practice, you'll be able to recognize when you're in a thought loop quite quickly and be able to separate from the ego mind without having to write it down every single time. But for now, practice writing everything down. I hope that makes sense and that it helps you as much as it's helped me in the past. Have a great week. Bye.